Welcome, pool fans, pool players, passion for pool people. Welcome to the Billiard Network. This is Rico Dix, commentating on this last 32 match in the European 8-Ball Championships, coming to you from Lasko, Slovenia. Now, this is not Joshua Filla's normal speed, although at times it may seem like it. We're giving you the most important parts of this match, so if there's any long thinking times, we'll fast forward those, so we may skip a few seconds here and there. This is a last 32 match between Joshua Filler and Wojciech Szewczyk. It's a single elimination stage from here on, so 5 matches to become a European 8-Ball champion 2022. Both players in with a good chance. Of course, can only cross the hurdle you're currently facing, and both players will be fully aware of each other's pool arsenal. So Joshua made a ball on the break, opted to choose the solids. I mean, both balls look fairly great, I have to say. So going for the solids, spots, solids, whatever you'd like to call it, wherever you play. Let's see how he chooses to do this. Normally you would say you'd work from side to side in 8-ball to minimize cue ball mileage. Alright, Joshua opted to go for the blue 2 here. And then he wants to, depending on the angle, he might be very straight here, but I think he's got a little angle to the left. So you should be able to follow his cue ball 2 rails out of that corner he's playing the 2 in, and then going to the red 3, and from there on, let's see if he wants position, which ball he chooses to play position onto the 8. It can be both the orange or the pink. Still don't know actually which is his penultimate ball, but I guess he wants his cue ball right back where it is now for a nice... Ooh, careful now, that's too straight. So he's going to have to apply a little bit of stun, which means manipulating the cue ball. No problem there. So a bit of a center ball, tip right, and shot it with there. Joshua for 1-0. Here we go. Alright, players racking their own balls, alternate break. Wojciech breaking from the exact center, and he's looking to primarily make the 2 balls below the first ball he's hitting into the side pockets, left and right. See if he can make 1 or 2. Alright, there went the 9 ball. Well, there went the 3 ball that was next to the 9 ball, missed the side pocket, went into the top right corner pocket, and made another ball in the top left corner pocket. So a pretty successful break here, but almost the worst spot you could be in on an 8-ball rack is back down on the cushion where you broke from, leaving you the fewest options, or the smallest chance to get an easy starter. But let's see. So if he gets started here, and he's off and running, but this needs a bit of good cueing here. Yeah, and getting up. Not sure yet. I don't even know which ball he's shooting, to be honest. Is he going to take the ball he's closest to? The stripe 14, I believe it is. Almost has to. I mean, he can shoot the yellow 1 as well, which would give him position on another ball. But he's going for the 14 diagonally to the bottom left, the way we look at it. Alright, stayed nice and still. Good opener. So he is off to the races. Now, not in prime position yet, needs a little bit of a correction to get in fine line for his 8-ball pattern. Alright, didn't want to do that. Whoa. Snookered himself on 2 out of his 3 remaining stripes. And that stripe to the left on the cushion, I mean, theoretically it's cuttable down the rail. into the top left, but you wouldn't want to shoot that with a gun to your head. But I think that's his only option. I mean, you could it might almost be easier to jump this over the 8-ball and try to make the stripe in the center pocket. Wow. Let's see, is what he's looking at now. Really, so quickly in a race to 8, well, especially against such a good front runner, Joshua. He needs this rack. You don't want to go 2-0 down and then having Joshua break the third rack as well, with potentially going 3-0 down after your first inning at the table. So, going for the extreme cut. Now, my advice to any players would be, don't hit it on the thick side. I mean, it's almost impossible to miss this too thin, so hit it as thin as you can and hit it with good speed so it can reach, of course. Wow, that was smooth, I have to say. Smooth sailing. Wow. I mean, he didn't even hit it hard. He like rolled it. Very confident about the way he was going to contact that stripe. Beautiful shot. All right. Basically back in line. He can roll this blue in to the side. His cue ball should come to the top short rail and come back out with a little bit of left spin. All right. Pretty good. Of course, he could have been better, but from where he was about 40 seconds ago, this is pretty sweet. You could afford to just make this ball and drift this cue ball back and forth from the right cushion to the left cushion and bounce out for the 8 in the pocket nearest to us. Ooh, only just trickled in. All right, so game ball for an even ball game. And this would mean that was a pretty good save by Wojciech, already displaying his talents. Nice. 1-all, race to 8. All right, quickly racking the balls. Joshua breaking his cue ball a little bit, like 5 inches to the right of where Wojciech was breaking. It was a pretty good hit. Didn't really come close to scratching in the side. I mean, he applied enough screw back, made a ball, made 2 balls. Again, though, his cue ball, that's what you do get if you smack him that hard. The cue ball tends to not remain in the center of the table, which would give you the most options, but he is a good starter here on the yellow 1. Now, of course, 8-ball, more chance of clusters, so kind of you have to try to work out what are your problems, and you need to get rid of these problems as soon as you can. Don't leave it to last. So he should be able to roll this in and push through the ball the stripe that he's close to get a shot on the. Whoa! Can you believe that? Oh, we can now. Well, classic line of you didn't see that one coming. Wow. Okay. So, but I don't know if the stripe that the cue ball is laying next to, if that stripe actually goes into the top right corner pocket. That could be a problem. And then we have, for Wojciech anyway, looking at his stripies, the stripe ball most southern in our screen is close to Joshua's orange 5-ball. It's the brown 15, I believe it is. That also needs to be broken open. So I don't even know what he's going to do here. Maybe shoot the yellow into the side, cue ball 2 rails into that orange-brown cluster to start us off. Yeah. Good try. It's hard to get the required left spin off of that second rail to open up that cluster. So that remains a problem, and 1 ball less to work with. So yeah, he's got options, but it's far from a definite out. You could almost say he's not favourite to run out here, even though he's part of the famous Polish pool team. All right, already bridging over that black 8. I think he's going to bridge before it. Yeah. Bit longer bridge hand, so he's going to try to break it open with a center cue ball stun. Yeah. Oh, not much good is going to come from this, I believe. Or does he actually have a shot on that stripe in the left side? I mean, theoretically, I think it goes. But he has to hit it quite thin, and that would set his cue ball loose. So he did call that one. So the ball he's closest to, into the left side. The referee is going to check for a potential double hit. I think he'll be alright for that. Although he's elevating his cue, so... Well, in elevating it, it's hard to see the potting angle. It's already difficult, even if you have a flat cue or a horizontal cue. Well, that wasn't even close, to be honest. Alright. All to play for. So Joshua immediately surveying the orange solid and see if he can make it in the corner pocket. I don't think so, but he could open it up either with the red. That could be a big chance to open it up after potting the red ball, or the brown ball and do something. I mean, of course, the ball does have a pocket somewhere. I think that orange 5. So he might actually be able to not even break it open, although I can't even see a pocket. Does have an angle to go into now. I think he might with top left. No, he's aiming low on his cue ball, so I think he's holding. Maybe he doesn't even have to break it open. What am I talking about? He came so perfect. Straight in, little screw back. And we had to push it a little bit to bend the angle, so he hit it with left spin. So he was able to bend the 5 into the correct line. Nice shot there. This should pose no further problems. Is he gesturing? He had a kick. Yeah, he's having the cue ball clean, so bad contact. But it looks to be pretty straight in. So for a 2-1 lead, race to 8. Alright, also elevating his cue. Short hit. Nice. 2-1 to Joshua Filler. Wojtek changed his cue ball position to Joshua's position. So, following Joshua's lead. Let's see. 2 balls below the head ball. Both disappeared into the side. Nice. Well, that's about as good as you can hit him. Now, the cue ball came back pretty low again. But... and that means he's kind of forced to take the stripes, but the stripes look pretty inviting. Actually, the most difficult stripe I would potentially see is the one he was aiming at there now. It's the most kind of lonely stripe ball. Could still take the solids if he wanted to. Alright, opting for the stripes. Looking to get it back to 2-all and basically make it an on-break serve, or make it an on-break match, kind of like tennis. Nobody's been broken, nobody's broken anybody's break. Break the break. Alright, while Wojtek surveys his plan of action, let me tell you what these players, their path to clash in this match. Now, Wojtek had to play a preliminary match against Jani Uski from Finland, who's a very talented player, but Wojtek had no problems there, beating Jani 8-2. That got him into the winners qualifier, and that was a match to get into the single elimination last 64 bracket. And there he lost to Austria's second most, or almost third most famous export, Mario He. I guess the brother and sister pair of the Aussians are the most famous, but Mario He, everybody knows how dangerous he is, so no shaming losing to him. That means that Wojtek had to play a losers round game to be able to qualify for the last 32. So we look at him wanting to get dead straight in onto the penultimate stripe. That is not straight in. Far from it. Wow, that's a pretty big judgment missed call there. That's quite a way off. So maybe the nerves of settling into this match, kind of playing with his feel of the table, of the cue ball, and his relaxedness of his arm. Alright, well, he cut the ball in the previous, or 2 games ago, pretty easily, so he remembered that one. This one was quite a bit easier. Now, he can stun the cue ball. He has about a 10-degree angle, so he's able to stun it into the top rail and come back out towards the 8, most likely to stay out of trouble. So stay in this line that the last stripe is in now. Nice speed, so brought it quite a bit closer, but never in danger of losing a nice shot on the 8 ball for an even match. 8 ball, bottom left corner. Alright. So Wojciech had to play that losers round after losing against Mario He. And he won that match, of course, or else he wouldn't have been in this one. He beat Ladislav Hašman from the Czech Republic. And Joshua Filler only had to play 1 match to qualify for the last 64, and that was against Dutchman Yannick Pongers. Beat him 8-5. And then in the last 64, let me tell you, let me just scroll down the drawn results. Wojciech beat Daniel Guttenberger 8-3 in the single elimination 64. And Joshua, well, Joshua had a whitewash of Estonian player. Ooh, nice back shot. Had a whitewash of Estonian player Carl Gnadeberg, 8-0. And that's how Wojciech and Joshua ended up butting heads in this 8-ball game here. Right. So the ball to pick up, if anything, for the solids is the green 6, surrounded by the stripes. Can only be played kind of logically into the bottom left corner pocket, so he has to fashion a way to get his cue ball in between the black ball and the stripe orange. And there's quite a bit of room just south of the right side pocket. How he's going to get there? Quite a few ways. There's first things first. But he's already thinking about getting ultimate position to do that. And I think he's going to... He could have, like he did in the first rack, picked it up mid-rack. But I think he's going to opt to clean up his balls on the north side of the table. Oh. He wanted to go there now, I think, but may have fallen short. Kind of a disappointing head movement there from Joshua. So not the way he visualized his rack going. So in 8-ball it happens quite often, same as in all the rotation games, that you get severely out of line or slightly out of line. It's how you correct yourself, and that hopefully you're able to do that in the next shot. So potted the ball and got an excellent angle on this one. Could roll it in and keep position on the red 3, or can again try to roll just west or just to the right of the black 8-ball. Although he might have too big of an angle actually. As intended, because now he's got about a 10-20 degree angle on the red ball, so his cue ball is going to move somewhat to the right. So how is he going to get back? down to this side of the table on the right side. Wow. Now that is a world-class correctional shot. Beautiful that was. Replays. Okay, you guys can scroll back a few seconds and watch that one again. So it was almost like it was played with not right, not left spin, just bottom spin. Beautiful. Okay, for a 3-2 lead, this fairly easy 8-ball deserved after that beautiful positional shot. Good work from Joshua. What a talent he is. And what a match player he is. Alright, both been breaking well. Let's see how these two balls below the front ball go. Although they're breaking hard enough to make anything else as well. Boom. Super square hit. Made the ball on the side. Alright. You can shoot either stripes or solids. There's of course a little bit of a cluster there nearest his cue ball. Yeah, thinking about it. Now, is that cluster made up of... Yeah, see, there's a spot in the middle of those two stripes that doesn't yet have a pocket. And he's thinking of making the yellow 1 and hitting his cue ball, rolling it with a bit of left spin to send his cue ball right into that cluster. Just missing the brown 7. That's not easy. It's a very specific line he needs to get there. Hopefully should be easier possibilities, but if this is the one you're presented with, as I said, try to get rid of any clusters, any problems as soon as you can playing 8-ball, or else you're just chasing and fewer balls to do it with. Ooh, beauty. Beautiful. Nice speed, nice direction. Now, he would have loved to have been able to shoot the orange 5 or the red 3, but can shoot neither, so still something to work on. And then we, or he, lucky for us, it's not us, he still has two solids down south here. That the blue should be alright, but the green needs a particular position. As you can see, he's pointing at his options if he wants to play it in the same corner pocket as he's going to shoot the blue 2 in. Three ball doesn't go, the orange goes of course, but that's going to send his cue ball towards the top left corner. There shouldn't be a scratching danger, but position after coming out of that top left corner 2 rails is not automatic. Far from it actually. So I don't think the red ball passes to the bottom left corner pocket. Man, there's so much to talk about in 8-ball. Can't get time to catch my breath. I mean, I guess most people, the majority of pool players in the world, whether they are rotation players now, start off playing 8-ball. It's what you play with your student friends. It's what I started playing with my neighborhood friends in my local pool hall in Holland, in Tilburg. Right, he's able to shoot the red 3. Ooh. Ooh. 8-ball is, well, also mentally a tough game because he had an out possibility. It's not like the table was full of clusters, so of course a player of his level really wanted to get out there, even though it wasn't easy yet, but he won't like that. Alright, Joshua at the start with the stripe 14 top left. Not easy. Joshua, amazing, if not one of the best putters in the world. Maybe the best one. I guess the best putters in the world on a pool table. I mean, Joshua would be in the conversation. Jason Shaw would be in there. Who else? You can comment down in the comments below who you think is the best putter in the world, or your top 3. But yeah, as I said, most players in the world, the majority, would start playing 8-ball and then move on to rotation games. And for myself personally, I love playing 8-ball, thinking of the patterns, which are, of course, there are so many possibilities for patterns, whereas the rotation games, for the professionals, they would often play the same patterns, clearing up the 9 or 10 balls. But in 8-ball, sometimes it's very logical and clear, and there's only one option that you would realistically go for. But often with 7 or 8 balls left on the table, there's so many varying patterns you could take, and being able to take the most economical one where you don't have to show your talent, let's say, and keep things easy, that's the intelligence in 8-ball that's required. And sometimes the rotation players, or people who have started playing rotation, sometimes don't have it in 8-ball, are amazing putters but don't always play the best patterns. Joshua, though, going for a 4-2 lead. Okay, so a little bit of daylight, and broke Wojciech's break, basically. So they're both breaking from the same cue ball position. Well, they've both been hitting them very well, so... Oh! Just as I said that. Directly into the side. Alright. Wojciech will be relieved not to have to sit and watch and potentially go 5-2 down. So he's able to make amends for his missed red 3. Right, one cluster closest to us. How to get there? You can get there if you play the spots are solid. You can play position on the green 6 with the orange, of course. That looks pretty logical if you're straight in the orange. You could play the combination now. In 8-ball, in American 8-ball, if it's an open table, you're allowed to play a spot onto a stripe or vice versa to choose your group. So he's able to, I think he's able to shoot the combination green 6-ball onto the blue 10-ball. To take the stripe balls, that's what he's going to do. Thinking about it. Wanted to draw his cue ball 1 ball's width further back to be straight in on the orange or pink. It's hard to see on the closest stripe ball. So in making this now, naturally he might run into the black, so he's going to have to add some backspin. And anyway, the about 40-degree angle is not the easiest, so he would have loved to have been easier. So a bit of a correction needed here. He's going to roll it in, not applying any southern hemisphere cue ball tip position, so rolling it in. Oh, careful for that black 8. Ooh, Wojciech. Right. The one good thing about that miss is that he's blocking the pocket for the green 6 of Joshua's, which the green 6 also not going into the top left corner pocket. He might have to bank the green 6 after playing position on it from the orange 5. I think he's already thought about that, to be honest. Now we would love to do that sooner rather than later, and then to be able to clear up the north section of the table. Let's see what his plan of action is. He could still break it open, but should he break open the green ball off of that left rail, he doesn't necessarily have a ball that he would have position on. And that's what you would like if you're breaking open balls, that you would have position on secondary ball automatically, no matter what happens with the ball you're breaking open. Still unsure what Joshua's plan of action is. I don't think Joshua's unclear about it. He's yet to show us his hand of cards. Ooh, didn't want to do that. Disappointment, disappointment. That brown stripe 15 blocking both the potting angle to his pink solid and to the red ball. Well, the orange is bankable. Now Joshua is an amazing bank pool player, so I would put my money on him making this shot. And he still needs to come around with his cue ball 3 rails and avoid that brown 15 that he's hampered by now. So, will Joshua Filler get out in this rack? He's not favourite. Hasn't made himself favourite. Went from having 1 problem to now having 2. Alright, so he's able to play the red 3 ball. Hung it. No, Joshua, that was never going in, was it? It was wishful thinking that might still drop as a late entry. Alright, so Wojciech being let off the hook here, big time. Now, while Wojciech clears this table, hopefully you would think so, let me just drop some titles that these players have managed to win in their relatively short careers, but pretty successful, I can tell you. Wojciech, born in 1994, and he's a 2-time junior European pool champion winner. He is the European junior 8-ball champion, so an 8-ball player and winner for sure of a major junior title. Still not in prime position here. I mean, you wouldn't really want to be shooting balls to far pockets, but the way things stand, that's what he gave himself, and that's a perfect line. So stop his cue ball there, or maybe roll it 1 ball's width forward, stun follow. And now he's in a natural position, rolling the brown 15 in the right side pocket, adding a little tip of left on his cue ball, or come 2 rails. Also pretty comfortable. Alright, to make it 4-3 for Joshua. So Wojciech, when you're watching this video, has recently been crowned the world 10-ball champion. What an achievement that is. He didn't know that yet when he was playing this match, I can tell you, Wojciech. Well done on that one. Alright, looking to make a ball, keep position. Wow, what a break. Both players really having monster breaks as far as direct hit on the first ball goes, cue ball, tip position. It does mean in hitting him so good, as you can see, most of the time the cue ball kind of floats back down or back up the table from where we're looking. Now, they're not lucky, but it's good they break him so hard that a lot of balls make it all the way up that far. So they have a shot still. But the stripe nearest to his cue, I don't know if that goes into the pocket he's bridging from. I guess it does. If it does, then this looks to be a very nice rack to be able to even out this game. Alright. connect the dots in the next 4 shots. So that means that the ball you're currently potting will give you automatic position, or the cue ball is in line to be for your next positional shot. You may choose to bring your cue ball closer. Alright, this left him a little bit of an angle on that ball in the side, which means he's not able to get straight in, which is what he needed to get straight in onto the yellow stripe ball. Should be able to keep the angle fairly small. We might play it in the corner even. Hard to see. Alright, so all nice and natural here, making this yellow into the top or bottom left. This cue ball will drift perfectly towards the green stripe. Alright, he's got options for his position on the black. Can go top left with his cue ball and follow it through 2 rails out of the corner closest to us. Alright. Nice. Alright. So, mistake here and there by both players. And we have got an even ball game at the halfway point of this match. Right, Joshua Filler to break. So if it gets to be 7-all, Joshua will be the player breaking. That is the big advantage when you've won the lag. Wow. 2 balls in the side. The usual suspects. Joshua hitting him a little bit less hard than Wojciech does, but knows exactly the speed, and he will break him at that speed most likely all the time. I think Wojciech is more of a player that looks to break him very hard, let's say, whereas Joshua is trying to tone his speed down to not make it a sledgehammer break, but just a nice hard break. Therefore being able to control his cue ball a little bit better, hopefully, although that wasn't the case 3 racks ago. And I'm scratching in the side on the break. Anyway, he's off and running. 5 stripes and a black ball to go to get into the lead. Now historically, these European Championships, they don't offer any direct prize money, but they do offer a once-in-a-lifetime money can't buy warm feeling when you win this tournament, I can tell you. And any of these titles up for grabs, 4 these days, 8 ball, 9 ball, 10 ball, straight pool, all in being played in like 10 days time, and the national team tournament. They're coveted medals by all players that take part here. Ooh, coming on nice and close to that yellow ball. Alright, perfect position here after that close shave with the yellow ball. Alright, bit of an angle on his last stripe, meaning he will probably shoot the black ball in the same pocket he's going to shoot the last stripe in. These 2 balls to take the lead in the match. Nice. Beautiful tempo of his cue ball, beautiful line. Beautiful break and run out there, no problems. Now let's see if Wojciech can return the favor. Don't scratch. But he's been hitting him so well. Right, long aiming period. Wow. Hard break. 2 balls in the side. Flew into the side. It's interesting, you know, with Joshua's break and Wojciech's break. I mean, both equally successful, you can say, by making 2 balls into the side pocket. the two balls underneath the head ball. But with Wojciech's break giving even more speed into the cue ball and therefore into the rack, it's almost like the balls disperse, get clear from each other after being rack tight together, but then come back together, it seems. And Joshua's speed, it seems like it's more liable to open up and stay opened up and have no clusters. Now that's not a promise, it's not a given, but it's almost like Wojciech is breaking him so hard that he's breaking him apart, and then the balls kind of come back together again, or a few of them anyway. Now this is a tough rack. So opting for the stripes. Notable points of attention that he is facing is of course the yellow stripe. It does have a pocket in the top left, but not with this angle on his stripe, so he's gonna have to add some top left spin to make his cue ball turn right off of the bottom cushion closest to us where he's pointing, and then set it into the cluster. But he needs position on that ball that he's breaking open, the yellow ball, because he might get position after breaking it open onto the blue stripe that's in the top left of the table, but far from a certainty. So he wants to hit the orange ball full on. Beauty. What a shot. Nice. And besides steering your cue ball to do that, to also stay paying attention to the ball you're actually trying to pot. I mean, how often do you break open a cluster and actually miss the ball you're playing? So that was a beautiful solution of that problem. He's got one more, not a cluster, but the two green balls are nearest each other. Now the green stripe does go into the top right, so he wants position on the orange to try to get there now. So he wants a little bit of an angle, and this will do, or is it too straight? I mean, dead straight meaning you can only go straight forward or straight back. He wanted like a 10-degree angle to the right of the orange 13, so he could draw his cue ball to play the green stripe in the same pocket. I think he's able to do it, looking the way he's aiming and not taking that much time. Wow. Yeah, they're both getting in stroke, or not getting in stroke, showing they're in stroke. Having played a few matches in this 8-ball tournament and coming up with the goods when it really matters. 5 matches away from the European Championship gold medal and glory. And this is the time to play your best stuff. And they are breaking well, feeling the cue ball speed, keeping good angles. So wants to follow his cue ball and come back far enough to the left side of the table. Oh no! Can you believe it? Yes, we can. Now he's able to hit the 10 ball like 10 degrees or like 10% on the right of the 10 ball. Now with a lot of right spin, that might... Ooh, he's banking it. So never mind me thinking he can kind of swerve or spin his 10 ball into the pocket it's closest to. He's already resigned to having to bank the ball. Now, banking the ball also needs to avoid the double kiss, because he's going to hit his cue ball with top right. Whew, he's got his work cut out. Man, just as I was saying, they're so in stroke. They're doing so well. I mean, that commentator's curse does apply, it seems. This would be a beautiful saving shot. And so important. Either go 6-4 down in a race to 8, single elimination stage, or tie the ball game at 5 in a race to 8. Shot of the match so far. Wojciech needing an extreme amount of accuracy aiming wise. should be able to get a shot on the black 8 if he makes this 10 ball. Never going in. Right, Joshua with an unexpected chance. I don't know if he's able to. I think he has to bank this pink. Oh, playing safe like that. Yeah. That's how kind of simple 8-ball can be, and that's how you kind of should play it. I mean, if Wojciech kicks this in 1 or 2 rails, then you just have to applaud the man, but you would always have to play it the way Joshua did. There's no need to go for the bank on the pink that I was maybe suggesting. If you can play such a deadly simple stop shot safety, then that's the way to go. So Wojciech can play it off the rail that he was standing closest to, but will need some unnatural path with his cue ball, so he might have to add a little bit of right spin. So if he wants to play it without any spin, the 6s that he's close to and hampered snookered on is in the way. So kind of choosing the non-natural angle and then adjust it with right spin to straighten up the cue ball. Don't know if we'll be able to see if he's going to make it with our skilled referee looking close onto proceedings. No, that was a no-hit shot. Was it? No, I think that 10 ball's in exactly the same position. So, that safety paid off for Joshua. Wojciech will be so disappointed. He did all that work of clearing his 2 problems, 1 cluster, 1 half tied up stripe, to get onto his penultimate stripe and not have a shot on it. That was criminal, really. Now with these 5 balls option, you have about, well, so many options to run out this table. Of course, go from side to side, not go back and forth with your cue ball. But right, Joshua must be feeling pretty chuffed, taking a 6-4 lead and having the break. So the way he's been breaking, will feel very comfortable about breaking the balls and making a ball. And well, in 8-ball you always have a shot. Don't know if it's a pot usually, but since all balls are open in an open table, all you need to do is not scratch and make a ball, which is easier said than done. I mean, I can tell you. Right, so Joshua wanting to now look at Joshua's speed, not extremely hard, so just a pop break. Ooh, missed the 2 stripes into the side, and you could see him waving his arms. Kind of hit him the same, and the balls are tapped in, so they should kind of, will always be racked the same, but I guess the ball is still round, as we say in my Dutch native tongue. You know, you never know what can happen. You know, he signed up to be playing with round balls that can roll and they can do funny things, as we and all you players will know, and all of you pool fans will have seen in the various games you've been watching. Thanks again for currently watching the Billiard Network vast array of high-class world pool action. Right, this game is really shown the quality. We've seen a few misses. We've seen some really great positional and correction shots. So Wojciech not wanting to go 3 games down, wanting to bring it back to a 1-game deficit. Well, no clusters. So a few different ways he could run this out, but I guess keep the orange ball as a penultimate ball to play the black, because that gives you automatic position. So don't know if the blue ball goes after this. No. Alright, so wanting to play brown, blue, red, orange. So this one, the most important shot where he doesn't have position yet and really has to create it, although he has the natural angle to do so. He doesn't have to force things. That's very good. Really, I mean, we've all done it. We've all done it, but as you can see, making things, kind of creating problems where there weren't any. Ideal line. Now what? And you can, of course, make the orange red, but getting position on the red 3, there are a lot of stripes that would love to be in the way. You could jump in the red 3 ball and try to get position on the orange into the side. Because his cue ball, in making the orange 5, is first going to go to the north side of the table. Yeah, I mean, he can't hold it for any kind of position, so it would have to come up table and back down table to somewhere we was recently pointing his cue, so just to the left of the left side pocket is where he wants to come. So it should be a natural, fairly natural angle, bit of bottom spin. Just manipulate it that much. A little bit more speed. Does he make it? Does he make it? Answers on a postcard, but doesn't look good. Although sometimes you can just... Of course, we can't really see it from here. I mean, he doesn't seem to be crying, so I think he's got a shot here. 8 ball in the dead in the middle of the table. Goes into the top left. Judging by the way he shot this, it will probably also go past the yellow into the left side. But he wanted a bit more out of his cue ball than that. Now, you'd love to just roll this in. I think rolling it into the left side is going to make his cue ball go into that stripe that's furthest away on the table. Well, you don't want to scratch in the top right corner pocket off of that stripe. I think he'll be alright. So, a little bit of aiming required. Just a roll as well, so no hard shot. Right. Wow. A bit more stress than he bargained for there. Alright, trying to claw himself back into an even ball game. Let's look at the 2 balls below the first ball, where they zip into the side or not. Woo! Wild cue ball. Made a ball. Somehow or other, made 2. Alright. Almost, if you look at the top left of your screen, the stripe being blocked by the brown 7, instantly looking to probably take the solids. The only one he has to pick up then is the yellow one, because that only goes into the bottom right corner, closest to where we are. Yeah. What to do. So he's pointing now where he can pick up that 1 ball. Well, you could also leave the brown ball and just take the solids, leave the brown ball, so if you don't run out, you leave quite a bit, or at least a bit to do for Joshua. If you think, and of course he thinks he has a level to run out, looking at that combination now, playing the brown stripe into the brown solid. So kind of just putting it all out there, really. Do or die. Right. So now his main concern is picking up the yellow 1 ball, and he needs position. How do I say it? Where he was pointing his cue earlier. On the left long rail. The middle of the bottom left long rail is where it needs to be. should be able to get there, not yet. So he needs to use the orange and therefore loses a ball to try to get position onto the blue or red to try to get to the yellow. So he's running out of options, really. Would love to have a bit of an angle onto the red ball, and he's got it. So in rolling this red ball in, his cue ball should be able to hit the middle diamond of that lower half of the left rail, if you get me. There where he's pointing. Might need a little bit of a left spin, because his cue ball might actually touch a little bit higher than that, touch the rail a little bit higher than that, and he needs to spin it a bit further to the left. And in these situations, 5-6, to get into the last 16, you know, that feeling of cue ball weight, of how hard it comes in and out of the rail, I mean, that's perfect. Beautiful shot. That's, in a lot of players, that's what will be missing, or, you know, the nerves will make you not as relaxed as you were in your local pool hall when you're preparing for these championships or for any tournament you all might be playing yourselves. And then when it comes to these situations, to try to keep your arm nice and relaxed or loose and try to let your talent shine. This is beautiful here by Wojciech. 2 balls away from making it 6-all, and then we're playing a best of 3 games to see who goes on and who goes out. I do really like his stroke speed, his cue ball. Some people, you know, thump cue balls, and he kind of always hits the cue ball at a nice speed, meaning he pots the balls at a nice speed, keeping the pockets bigger if they need to be down the rails or something. So I like his technique. All right, Joshua missed the 2 balls earlier into the side, and again, both of them came too high, and there comes a late entry. 10 ball, top right corner pocket. He'll be relieved. All right, both spots and stripes are doable groups to play. He's going for the spots. Alright, wanted to play onto the blue too, did so. So in the south side of this, of his route to the black ball in this rack, I guess he would love to be straight in on the red 3 if I'm looking about 5 balls ahead. So I was going to shoot the yellow and then the orange or pink. I would love to be straight in on the red 3 to stop his cue ball for the brown 7. And that is not a foregone conclusion yet, I can tell you. Yeah, taking his time here. I mean, he could go, I think he's got an angle on the green to go to the red 3 now. He could follow his cue ball towards the striped red ball on the right cushion somewhere there, and that would, but then of course he leaves the pink 4 closest to him now. So he may want to get rid of the pink 4 now, but then he really has to create the angle on the green to get himself straight in on the red ball. So in that respect, 8 ball requires, you know, a little bit more thinking, a little bit more speed skill than I think the rotation games often do sometimes. And this is not ideal. Yes, he's got a shot on the green. Yes, he's got a shot on the red, but neither are ideal. If he rolls the red ball in, his cue ball will come off of the middle diamond towards the black. Oh, he's going to screw it out of the corner, I think. Yeah. It's kind of in between here again. Not good for the corner, not good for the side. We'll shoot it into the side, so now he's probably going to opt for the brown. I mean, I don't know. And again, if he shoots the brown now and plays the green ball as his last solid, position on the black is not automatic. So he's kind of playing 8-ball like a rotation player, although I know that Joshua is an amazing 8-ball player and has played countless of Bundesliga, German team league matches, as all the German players do, and as a lot of European top players have done or are doing currently, playing in the German team league where they play all disciplines. So kind of wants to keep the same angle as he had on the brown already, and did so. Now he should be able to avoid hitting the brown stripe by making this bit of right spin, and he should be able to play the black into the same pocket. Alright. A bit more nervy than he would have loved to, but if you're able to get onto the black ball like this, to be able to get onto the hill, you take it, I guess. Bit of aiming required. Good bit of screw back not to hit that stripe and scratch or something. Here we go. Alright. Joshua needs one game to get into the last 16 of the European 8-Ball Championships 2022. Wojciech breaking here to give himself a chance to make it a hill thriller. Yeah, he's making both balls into the side. Wow, and two other balls. And see that cue ball coming so far up table. Both of them kind of constantly bringing it back to the top rail leaves them fewer options. I mean, if you can imagine your cue ball being somewhere in the center of the table, you could shoot 70% of the remaining balls on the table. So he's checking if he can shoot the yellow into the bottom left corner pocket. Is he already shooting it? Or is he just checking? Ooh. Nervy. I'm even nervous. Ooh, just. Alright. Will we get a final game decider, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, I really hope so. It kind of deserves it. We deserve it as an audience. I'm sure Joshua would love to see one of the mistakes that Wojciech has been making in this match, really, 2 or 3 times, where he was in a run-out position and then still managed to lose the rack. But yeah, you know, we've all done it. So Wojciech's main concern is to get a nice shot on the orange 5 here, only the lonely nearest to us. And which ball he's going to use to get there. Can use all 4 of them, to be honest, or after this can use all 4 balls. So he's probably going to use the blue ball to get onto the orange. So rolling in the red, keeping a 20-degree angle on the green, stunning his cue ball out for a straight shot on the pink, and stopping his cue ball for a beautiful angle on the blue. I'll venture a guess. Right. Yeah, a little bit more angle than he ideally would have liked, but now he can roll it with left spin. So just left, no backspin, and that should bring his cue ball in that direction. Now he could still shoot the blue after he shoots this green. This is kind of like in snooker, they say play position on 2 reds or something. This, you're kind of bringing the cue ball in between the pink and the blue. Don't miss the green. Nice. Alright, he's got options here. If he doesn't love the pink right now, he could shoot the blue and get some kind of angle on the pink. Although off of the pink he would need a multiple rail position onto the orange. And I think he's looking to be able to roll after this pink, roll the blue in and get his cue ball over the line that his cue is just pointing, just straight down to the bottom left of the table here. So let's see. No? Alright, so he's choosing the pink to get onto the orange. Or is he going to go to the orange now? No. So, he has got a natural angle to come off of the top short rail and come back towards where he's standing now. But that would be his ideal angle where he's pointing, and then he's got a little bit of room for error left and right of that where he was pointing. But it needs some speed control. It's a pretty natural line for the cue ball, so high cue ball, because you want your cue ball to roll, so don't hit it center ball and make it stop halfway up the table. Nice and high. That is a beauty, especially in this time of the match. The heat is on. To be able to delicately thread your cue ball at that speed shows some talent, really, and some talent to play intense matches and play good shots under pressure. All right. So happy you've joined me for this final rack decider that we are about to witness. To get into the best 16 8-ball players of the European 8-ball Championships 2022. Joshua won the lag and will therefore have the break. Let's see if he can make the 2 balls in the side that he failed to do in the last 2 breaks. Oh, kicked away, and that one went too high again. Oh, the blue 10 wanted to save him, didn't. And basically the last ball rolling came down to a pocket near us. Wow. But isn't it typical that a hill final rack decider is never kind of like a beautiful open simple rack with some stop shots, light stun shots? I mean, it must be the way players, the tension that they feel inside them, in their arm, and the way they hit the cue ball on the break, that it's not as loose as they would do, in practice or at the beginning of the match, or, just hitting them with a little bit more or a little bit less looseness, just hitting them less clean than they want to. I mean, he was on course for not to make a ball on the break and let Wojciech to the table. Anyway, here we are. Which balls to choose? Oh, I love this. Such a not a foregone conclusion at all. A, which balls to take, and B, which route to go, and C, to even do that right. Pick the right balls, pick the right route, and execute. Right. I think he's looking at. He could play the. He could play the. Of course he can play the stripe that he's nearest to, but the stripe to the left of that, north of the table, doesn't go. So he's going to play the combination on the stripe. Or he's thinking about that. I think he is. But in taking the stripes, oh, we'll see after that. We'll talk after this. All right, made that. Now, 3 open stripes, the north side of the table. Lovely. But then these last 2 stripes, I don't know. Does that yellow even go into the pocket near us? Oh, he's breaking it open now. He was looking at this all along. Intelligence, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Beautiful. Now that's what I like. And that's what not everybody will be able to see. A pattern like that. And I can appreciate these things, and of course then also the execution of it. All right, so he's open. Would love to have his cue ball where the yellow is to play position on the orange stripe, because he doesn't want to run into the orange solid after making the orange stripe. Could do that now, but then he needs to roll this yellow with a lot of right spin, so he opted against that. Kind of stop his cue ball here, stun it a little bit to the right. Pop. And now he needs his cue ball to be straight in on the yellow. So he needs to draw it bottom right, tempo control just past the right side pocket. And that needs tempo. It needs a very specific hit on the ball that he's potting, as you can see. And it's a very smart thing to do for any players, whether it's a team league match. Just that last, just go back to your table where you're seated when you're not at the table and just have a sip of water. Make yourself aware of the chance you've been created, or you've created, or have been given, or whatever. And here we go. Last 3 balls for what will be an important victory. All right, wants to get back to where his yellow ball is now. So not same height. Nice. All right. Will Joshua Filler be this match's killer? Play the 8 in the same pocket. Yeah. Come on over. Beautiful. All right, he knows it. All right, he might let out a little bit of a typical Joshua shout here, because he'll be chuffed with this victory.
Yes.
Nice. All right, Joshua Filler into the last 16 of the European 8-Ball Championships 2022.